I'd like to call this school board meeting to order Monday, August 22nd at 7:34 p.m. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask that you please remain standing and join me for a moment of silence as we reflect on those serving in the United States Armed Forces, both past and present, the elected leaders for the state of Pennsylvania, the elected leaders of our nation. As a community, we have much to be thankful for. Thank you. You may be seated. Item 3 on the agenda, I would like to announce the following executive sessions. Monday, August 8th at 6:45 p.m. to discuss personnel matters. Thursday, August 18th at 4 p.m. for an informational executive session and workshop. Thursday, August 18th at 9:06 p.m. executive session to discuss personnel matters. And Monday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. to discuss personnel issues and legal matters. Item 4 on the agenda, Dr. Soder for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Our schools have been very busy this summer with a number of different activities that we wanted to outline for you this evening. We had extended school year that took place in July and August for qualifying elementary, middle, and high school students. Several of our special education teachers, aides, and supervisors were part of that program. We had summer academies in July, and students participated in our traditional summer school courses, as well as advancement and enrichment classes. We were fortunate to have students enrolled in these classes from our middle school and our high school. In August, several elementary students participated in our Jump Start program, and they had a chance to practice their math and reading skills for about 2 weeks before our new year is underway. We also employed about a dozen high school students to work with our teachers during this program as student aides, and that gives those students an opportunity to learn a little bit about the teaching profession while helping our younger students. Our fall athletic season is underway. We have had several student athletes on campus for the past few weeks. The students have started practice for the fall sports as well as rehearsals for the marching band. And finally, our last summer program is Kinder Camp. This is a week that we set aside to orient our youngest students to their new school environment. It's an exciting time for these children, and we even have a few middle and high school students volunteer to assist our kindergartners during that. Amid all of this activity, our maintenance department prepared our schools for the new year. Our custodial staff completed a thorough cleaning of our classrooms and our common areas. The administrators and supervisors worked with the Human Resources Office to hire our teachers and staff needed for the new year. Our technology department upgraded several of their systems, and our transportation department has completed the new bus routes and sent the information to our families. Several of our students worked for our housekeeping and technology departments throughout the summer for our projects. It's been a very busy summer for all of us, and we are ready and very excited to begin our new school year. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge Colin Gray, who will be giving us our student report.
Thank you, Mrs. Soder. For those of us who haven't been introduced already, my name is Colin Gray, and I've been elected to serve as student body president for the upcoming school year. In addition to student government, I'm very involved in a number of different activities and organizations at the high school. Right now, just for the fall, I'm running with the cross-country team and also the drum major and the marching band. I'd like to thank the board for providing me the opportunity to sit with them at monthly meetings. I look forward to learning more about the operation of the school district through this experience and continue the dialogue between students and the board. Student government officers from the executive and all 4 class councils met last week to begin planning for the new school year. We hope to continue to improve communication among the members of the student body so that all may feel part of our community. We're also beginning to discuss several fundraising and social events for the high school community. We will continue to evaluate policies and procedures from the student perspective. As Mrs. Soder already mentioned, fall sports teams have begun to practice, and we're looking forward to another successful sports season. And as she also mentioned, several clubs and organizations have already begun work on their school year activities. And finally, every student's favorite part of summer, many high school students are working to complete summer assignments so that they can hit the ground running when the school starts next week. So, got to get a head start on that myself.
Thank you, Dr. Soder. Thank you, Mr. Gray. My household is abuzz with the finalizing of summer projects as well, so I can imagine what that's like. That brings us to item 5 on the agenda, public comment, specifically on agenda items, information, proposals, and statements from individuals or delegations pertaining to items on the agenda. Speakers, please indicate your name, township of residence, the item to which you are speaking, and we ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. This moves us to item 6 on the agenda, board committee reports. I'll address the upcoming committee of the whole. The next meeting of the committee of the whole will be held on Monday, September 12th at 6 p.m. in the administration boardroom. This moves us to building and grounds. Mr. Kleinfelder?
There was a short buildings and grounds meeting held on August 1st, 2011 at 6 p.m. in the administration building. As I said, it was brief. It was less than about a half an hour. There's 2 main things on there: change orders, one for some work to do to the drive-in at the high school, and then a maintenance contract for suburban water, I believe, at the to test the water at the various buildings throughout the school. The next Buildings and Ground Committee meeting is scheduled for September 19th, 2011 at 6 p.m. in the Board Administration Room. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Kleinfelder. Chester County Intermediate Unit update, Ms. Marcus?
We are not actually meeting in August, so I do not have a report at this time, and we'll be meeting again in September.
Thank you. Curriculum and instruction?
No report at this time.
Report. That moves us to extracurricular and interscholastic. Mrs. Walensky?
No report at this time.
Report. Our finance chair is not with us this evening, so that moves us to legislative and policy. Mr. Kleinfelder?
I have no report at this time.
Report, which moves us to personnel. Our personnel chair is not with us this evening, which moves us to pupil services and special education. Mrs. Eddy?
There's no report at this time.
A report. Technology committee. Our chair is not with us this evening. Transportation chair is not with us this evening. So that concludes the committee reports. This moves us to item 7 on the agenda. Recommended routine matters. The board is being asked to consider this section as a consent agenda, approving items 7.1 to 7.14. Moved by Mrs. Walensky, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. This moves us to item 8 on the agenda, which is approval of routine matters. Once again, the board is being asked to consider this as a consent agenda item, items 8.1 to 8.4. Moved by Mrs. Walensky, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 9 on the agenda, board discussion. Item 10 is old business, of which there is none, which moves us to item 11, new business. Item 11.1, approval of dates and times for regular school board meetings and committee meetings for the next school year. Moved by Mrs. Walensky, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.2, approval to eliminate policy 810B as recommended by the L&P Committee and
So
move to a
moved.
regulation. Moved by Mrs. Zelinski, second by Mr. Kleinfelder. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.3, approval to accept the following resignations as presented. Moved by Mrs. Zelinski, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.4, acceptance of the retirement of Julie Foley as a reading specialist at the high school. Mrs. Foley served the O&J Roberts District for more than 3 years. We wish Mrs. Foley best wishes, and the district extends to Mrs. Foley. Moved by Mrs. Zelinski, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.5, approval of the following request for sabbatical as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Barkis, second by Mrs. Zelinski. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.6, approval to eliminate the position of Administrative Specialist, Employee and Community Relations. Moved by Mrs. Zelinski, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.7, approval of employment contracts as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.8, move that the board approve a memorandum of understanding for the Roberts Teacher Association.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Barkis, second by Mrs. Zelinski. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 11.9, approval of part-time and casual appointments as presented. Moved by Mrs. Ettinger, second by Mrs. Zelinski. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.10, approval of the amendments to the temporary professional individual employment contracts as presented. Moved by Mrs. Zelinski, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.11, approval of the appointments of the following personnel, certificated appointments. Moved by Mrs. Zelinski,
Second.
second by Mr. Kleinfelder. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.12, approval of additional kinder camp teachers and aides. Moved by Mrs. Ettinger, second by Mrs. Zelinski. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.13, approval of the appointment of mentor teachers. Moved by Mrs. Zelinski, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.14, approval of extracurricular and supplemental athletic appointments. Moved by Mrs. Zelinski, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.15, approval of breakfast, lunch, and cafeteria prices for the school year.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder,
Second.
second by Mrs. Barkis. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Yeah, that motion passes. Item 11.16, approval of planned overnight and out-of-state athletic travel for the school year.
So moved.
Moved by
Mrs. Bisbee?
Mrs. Bisbee?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kleinfelder. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 1117, ratification of conference attendance approvals.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Barkis. Second by Mrs. Belinsky. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 1118, approval of attendance of the following conferences as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Belinsky. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 1119, approval of the Chester County Tax Collection Committee delegate.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Barkis, second by Mrs. Belinsky. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 1120, approval of transportation routes for the school year as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Belinsky, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a comment if I could read. This time of year, as we are always beginning a school year, and a lot of times that the bus routes and the bus things are so important, as they are the first line of anything with our parents, students, and the school district. In the interest of the OJR safety, I'd just like the public to be aware that the list of names that the bus drivers that are of the bus drivers is the extent of the information given to the board that we vote on. That they are hired and contracted, and they are paid by the vendor or contractor of the bus company. And this is neither a positive or a negative reflection of those people or the bus company. I just wanted the public to be aware that the board and the school district does not actually hire, pay, or contract with the individual bus drivers.
And this evening, we're approving the routes. There isn't a list of individuals in this board agenda, correct?
There was.
Correct. And we do the routing.
Okay.
Right. But I wanted that to be known.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bisland. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. This brings us to item 1121, approval of professional service and maintenance agreements. This time, I'd like to ask for a motion to separate this item. Moved by Mrs. Belinsky, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The second motion that I'd like to make under item 1121 is the removal of the third consulting service agreement with the Parkwood Group.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion?
The question is just whether or not we are going to vote individually on these then, or if it just pulls that piece out and we're voting together.
We had a motion to separate, so I think we should do the other three individually.
Thank you. Just wanted clarification, that's all.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So now we have three of the four items under 1121 to approve individually. The first is the approval of transportation addendum with Personal Health Care Group. Moved by Mrs. Belinsky, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 2, approval of an agreement with Professional Nursing Services, Inc. Moved by Mrs. Ettinger, second by Mrs. Belinsky. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The third item is the renewal of professional services agreement with Suburban Water Technology.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Did we deal with that section cleanly? Are we good there?
You did, and I have it.
All right, item 1122, approval of change orders.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder, second by Mrs. Belinsky. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Item 1123, approval of membership of the Cooperative Purchasing Program. Moved by Mrs. Belinsky, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Did I not say, Mrs. Ettinger? What did I say? I didn't realize how many B's there were without Mr. Hughes here. Where are, now I've lost track of it.
Okay. We have
Okay, all we have to
a
do is
motion and a
vote?
second for 1123. So now we need to vote.
Okay, go ahead, discussion?
Discussion.
Okay.
Can I just have a clarification? That doesn't mean that we're only bound to this. This is just adding this as an additional part that if we need to, we can use them.
You're absolutely correct. We often use multiple joint purchasing cooperative vendors to actually compare competitive pricing. It brings prices down. So yes, you're correct.
Thank you.
Good. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. This brings us to item 12 on the agenda, the opportunity for public comment on non-agenda items. Information, proposals, and statements from individuals or delegations pertaining to items other than those that were on the agenda. We ask that speakers indicate their name, township of residence, and limit their comments to no more than 3 minutes.
Good evening, Bill Lecoq from West Vincent Township. I'm very pleased to see that we're using board docs to help the public see what's going on with the agenda, and especially this version rather than the summary version. I just want to suggest, though, for the interest of the public to participate a little better, maybe you could project it overhead so it's larger, because few, if any, people can read that. And it is really very useful. It's a useful tool that we adopted. So often you sit in the audience and you hear people say, "What was that? What was that talking about? What was that issue?" And it's always in the publicly available board docs. So I think it would be useful to have that purpose.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lecoq.
Good evening. My name is Bob Rasmussen. I'm from South Country Township. My name is Bob Rasmussen, South Country Township. I, like most of the general public, do not have knowledge of the circumstances that precipitated Dr. D. Bartholomeo's sudden resignation. I share with many a frustration with not knowing the details and therefore not being able to judge for myself whether or not sacrificing transparency was appropriate in this case. However, I have observed the current board for the last year and a half or so, and in that time I have witnessed a group of people making decisions in a deliberate, careful, and thoughtful manner. They have taken great care to conduct their business in an open and transparent fashion. It is because of this history of openness that I can trust the judgment of the board with respect to the departure of Dr. D. Bartholomew. In my opinion, you have earned this trust. I know and trust that the board has not traded away transparency without getting something of value in return. And I trust that when they looked at the totality of the circumstances before them, they chose the best possible outcome for J. Barber School District. It is my hope that as the board moves forward with the search for a new
Mr. Rasmussen. That brings us to item 13 on the agenda, board request for information.
I know the beginning of the school year is really very busy. I would like to give a summary of how our fall sports tryouts went. I'd like to know about how many kids tried out for each sport, how many got cut, and how our procedures and our handbook, all of that process. So, some kind of summary on fall tryouts.
I'll be happy to get that for you from Mr. Strock.
I have one additional question, Mrs. Curran. I think it was the June board meeting where we approved the driver ed program, and in that conversation, Mr. Kleinfelder made a suggestion that we offer a banner in our stadium to the dealership, and I was just curious where we are with that.
I believe that Mr. Strock was going to reach out to the company. I don't know if you can provide an update. Mr. Strock, I'm not sure.
I'll be working with the owner of Patriots to develop a banner for them.
Great. Good. Thank you. If there's nothing else, may I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Ms. Politsky, second by Mrs. Ettinger. Thank you very much. This evening has